Hello there, Eddie Mercado here with BloodyElbow.com, and today I will be speaking with Bellator flyweight Brooke Mayo as she is set to take on Kaytlin Neil at Bellator 183 on September 23rd. So let's give Brooke a call and find out what she's been up to since her last fight with Artega. Find out how her EBI 12 experience went down as she took on Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, and maybe what she has in store for Bellator 183. Mrs. Brooke Mayo, how are you doing, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking out the time. You are headed for your sophomore appearance in the Bellator promotion. Headed to Bellator 183 on September 23rd, taking on Kaytlin Neil. How are things?
Yeah. Things have been good. Been in training camp. I'm here right now at Team Alpha Male, so made the move up here to Sacramento. Been super happy. Training's been awesome. So yeah, I feel super ready to fight. It's been a little while, so I'm ready to get back in there.
Yeah, you're coming off a crazy, absolutely crazy war with Artega back in February. I mean, it was an absolute just back and forth affair. You had your moments, she had her moments. Kind of a controversial ending. The referee called a halt to the action, brought in the doctor. Doctor just took one quick look and called the fight. Aside from the doctor stoppage, how do you feel about your performance?
Looking back at that fight, you know, as a fighter, I mean, I look at it critically. So from that fight, I learned a lot about myself. Good and bad. There's like a lot of holes in my game that I needed to patch up. So I took the opportunity to come move up here and Team Alpha Male, work on my wrestling, footwork, boxing. Just all the things that maybe I needed back at home and wasn't really getting. So up here now, I've really been on improving myself as a fighter. Yeah. And the loss was kind of, a blessing in disguise. There's always a silver lining. A lot of lessons learned there. So I really, just took it as a learning opportunity. And, now it's time to move on and be better for that.
Okay, now the whole eye situation, you had a huge hematoma. I mean, you could obviously still see, but they decided to go ahead and call the fight. What are your thoughts on the stoppage? You still protest, or are you looking back? You're kind of like whatever.
I'm just the crazy person I am. I still, stand behind what I had first said and just kind of think that maybe if I don't know. Everyone gets upset when I say this, but I still kind of stick behind what I had said originally, in that being a female, you are looked at differently. In a sense, and I don't blame an individual for that. I think it's natural for men to, have this sort of sensitivity, I feel like, towards women, which is good. It's a good thing. But in those moments, where I'm like, oh, like, let me fight. Like, to me, I was like, come on, 50-something seconds left. We're submit. What's the end? We're close to finishing the fight. And looking back at the tape, it's like I could see right where I got hit with that one punch. And then we went to the ground, and then I got hit with another punch. So it was like two punches. I'm like, okay. And they were trying to say crazy stuff, like there was possibly, bone fragments in my eye, whatever. But when I went to the doctor, and they were like, it's a hematoma, you have no concussion, you have no broken bones, I was kind of like, I was almost like more mad. I was like, dang, like I wish I would have actually had something wrong with me. But, like it's my job as a fighter to be, equipped to handle any situation in the cage. And obviously, I took more damage than I should have, but I just feel as if, maybe had, if been somebody else, it might have been let go, or maybe somebody that's maybe more, had some more professional fights in their career. Maybe they're looking at it like, she's only had one fight. Maybe we don't want her to like, screw herself up or, her career up for this particular injury. So I could see, both sides of it, but there's definitely a lot of layers to that, like, stoppage if you look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what would you say was the big takeaway from getting your debut out of the way? What was the number one biggest thing that you took away from the experience?
Just that, like, I mean, as tough as it was to lose in the way I did, I think that showed that, you know, I'm game and I can take on, like, you know, fighters in the top 15. I bit off maybe a little bit more than I could chew in my pro debut, being that it was on the main card against somebody that was ranked in the top 15 flyweights right now in the division. But I really liked the fact that, you know, I was that game to take on, you know, such a tough challenge, and it shows me where I'm at already and like so early in my career. So there's a lot of positives with what happened.
Okay, so let's back up for just a moment. My mother, she is the most casual of casual MMA fans. Like she might catch a fight here and there, maybe. And she happened to catch your performance, and she was so just overtaken by your tenacity and your willingness to want to push forward through the eye injury, despite, I mean, that thing was big, right? Like, that thing was huge. And, I mean, I'm, like, scrolling through my Facebook timeline, and I'm seeing her like your posts and things, and I'm like, what? That's wild. So, my mom says hello, of course, and she wanted me to ask you, at what age did you get into martial arts, and when did you decide that you wanted to be a fighter?
Well, tell her I said hello back. That's awesome. So it's funny because what led me to martial arts was, long story short, I played soccer since the age of 5, and I got a scholarship to St. Mary's College. So that was my primary sport. Before I ever trained any martial arts. Like, I did no karate, taekwondo as a kid, nothing. Just soccer, basketball, you know, all those sports. So midway through my freshman year of college, like, I realized I had compartment syndrome, where my muscle got too big for the fascia. So both my lower legs, I had to get a fasciotomy, had to have the fascia open up so my muscle could expand. Sorry, something popped up. So after that surgery, I was still having problems, still, like, you know, stubbornly trying to fight through it, still trying to play, and it just, you know, wasn't working out. Like, physically, I wasn't able, you know, to keep up at the pace I was before. So after I quit soccer, I was, like, you know, on this search to find a workout or just something to keep me busy, because I was bored with all my, you know, free time that I now had. So I decided, you know, one day I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go buy a bike. And I went to the bike shop, and my friend was there, and he had cauliflower ear, and his name's Derek. And he was like, hey, like, you trying to buy a bike? I'm like, yeah. I was like, do you wrestle? And he's like, no, I do jujitsu. And so he gave me the address, you know, to Health Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Dublin. That's when, like, I just was hooked on Jiu-Jitsu. So that's kind of what led me to martial arts. So I've really, I just came up on 4 years of Jiu-Jitsu, like, the other week in August. So that's kind of what led me into MMA. So I took a few Jiu-Jitsu classes. I'm like, I'm down to fight. Like, I want to do MMA. And people are like, what? Like, you're a white belt, you took some Jiu-Jitsu class, now you think you're an MMA fighter? I'm like, I mean, I was just always interested in, like, watching it. So, yeah, kind of hit the ground running.
Awesome. Definitely awesome. And speaking of jiu-jitsu, you competed in EBI 12, the Eddie Bravo Invitational Combat Jiu-Jitsu, and you took on the 5-0 Bellator flyweight Elimele McFarland. Super competitive bout, highly entertaining. I mean, there were plenty of smacks. What was your thoughts on competing in combat jiu-jitsu?
Oh my gosh, I loved it. To be honest, like, I really, really like combat jiu-jitsu. Like, I think it's more of a realistic take on grappling, you know, because stylistically now, sport jiu-jitsu, a lot of guys like to play in their guard, you know, they like to be playing off their back, but when you add strikes into, you know, the rule set, it definitely changes the game. Like, there's not a lot of, like, inversion and barrel bowling and, like, you know, that stuff going on. You're putting yourself in more jeopardy. So when Elimele and I competed, it was cool because it was a clash of styles in a sense. Like, she's very, you know, obviously planet, no gi, like, and I'm very traditional jiu-jitsu, like, you wear your gi and all that stuff. So I interpreted the rule set slightly differently and maybe more aggressively than some of the other competitors, and I just really, like, let my hands fly at certain points of the match. And yeah, so I mean, for my style, like, I think it's awesome. Like, I want to get into more combat jiu-jitsu, you know, in my off time if I don't have an MMA fight coming up. So yeah, I thought it was great.
Awesome. So we could expect to see you again in maybe an EBI Invitational. Now, there were some spankings going on during that match. I mean, you were really, really whacking her. Did it hurt your hand at all? Do you think it did more damage to your hand than it did to her?
So, like, I'll just rewind and, like, tell everyone why this happened, because I need to give Alima, like, credit. She's the one that was saying, like, in a previous interview, she said, you know, we were kind of talking about what we were going to do. We are trying to, like, hype up the match, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna knock you out with a palm strike. Like, I'm, like, you know, trying to be all tough guy with her, and she's like, I'm just gonna spank your ass. And I was like, what? Like, I was confused. I was like taking it back. I was like, talking about, like, that's weird. I laughed. I thought it was funny. And then we go to the rules meeting and she brings it up again. She's like, booty bongo contest, like, winner gets whatever. So we get to the match, and first minute she spanks me, and I don't know if anyone saw because it was discreet. So when she went for, you know, her toe hold, I was like, I'm gonna do it. So the first one I hit her, everyone just, like, erupts, you know, like, so that's what kind of encouraged me to keep doing it. But it was funny because she kept loosening her grip, so I was like, well, I guess, like, if it's working, it's working. I just kept going. But I saw a lot of funny memes and, like gifs and all that stuff after on it, so it's pretty hilarious. But that was more her than me. That's her idea.
I guess the $1 million question is, can you take her in an MMA fight?
I mean, looking at that match, I believe I can. I think that, like, I kind of showed that, I mean, especially during the regulation, I think that was an MMA fight with little gloves on. Those strikes would be punches, and that would be even more powerful. So, yes, I believe I could take her in an MMA fight, and, you know, I say that with, you know, respect for her, you know, no tough feelings or anything there, but I just really think, you know, unless you put me in a submission, like, I didn't really see her getting any submissions on me, and I could definitely see me getting some, you know, a TKO or I think it'd be a good matchup. I know, you know, like, I don't know what Bellator's plan is or what they want to do, but hopefully, like, down the road, we could see something like that, because if we put on that exciting of a combat jiu-jitsu match, why not see an MMA fight?
You might be onto something there. But before any of that, Bellator 183, September 23rd, Kaytlin Neil. Mm-hmm. She is making her promotional debut. She actually has an amateur win over Veda Artega. She won a split decision over her. What are your thoughts on the matchup?
Yeah, I think she's really athletic. She's definitely much taller, has more range. But I know that I actually had, like, watched her fight when I was an amateur against Brita Carpenter, who I fought as an amateur. So it's kind of funny. I've been, like, following her a little bit. I don't know. I just want it to be an exciting all-out war. I want it to be entertaining. So for me, I think it's more just, like, focusing on myself and my game, not trying to worry too much or overanalyze what she's gonna do. But I definitely see, like, she has certain tendencies, like, you know, she likes to kickbox, she likes to stand. So you're definitely going to see an exciting stylistic matchup there.
Okay, now how's training camp going? Of course, Team Alpha Male, like you had mentioned, Sarah McMahon, Cynthia Calvillo, all the greats are down there.
It's been awesome, like, to have Cynthia and Sarah helping me with this training camp. They definitely they're definitely, like, some of the best training partners anyone can ask for. They're both, you know, top 10 ranked in the world in the UFC. So I'm super happy with how my training's been going. And I'm feeling, like, super confident and, you know, just super happy to be here.
And you have a prediction on how you see this fight playing out? Are you going to get the finish, submission, knockout maybe? What can we expect?
I really want to finish, but I just want to make sure I take what's there and kind of show the fans that I've developed and I've grown since my last fight. So you will see some sort of finish, I hope. And but I definitely, I don't want to call out, you know, what it's going to be or reveal too much about my plans, I guess.
Sure, sure. Okay, well, why don't you tell us about your sponsors or any people that are helping you out on your journey?
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to thank Team Alpha Male for having me out here, all my training partners, teammates. I want to thank my manager, Dan Black, and my sponsors. Sorry, I have a few of them. But
yeah, reel them off.
Let's see. So I want to thank Kinders, Barbary Coast, North Park Soap Company, Delta Tactical Training, J. Lou Bags, new sponsor of mine. They're awesome. Lana's Egg Whites too. Thank you. Her also, and my family. Love you, fam.
You gotta thank the fam bam. Well, Brooke Mayo, thank you so much for taking out the time. Bellator 183. You have Kaytlin Neil in your crosshairs. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
So there you have it. Bellator flyweight Brooke Mayo set to take on Kaytlin Neil at Bellator 183 on September 23rd. Go check that out. In the meantime, you can read me over at bloodyelbow.com. You can follow me on Twitter at @Mercado. If you like this interview, you can subscribe to my channel right here. You can subscribe to Bloody Elbow's YouTube channel right there. Check out these interviews over here. Now go be a good person.